Phew, y'all, it has been rainy and hot and humid for weeks now. We've got more rain in June than I can remember. It's been great for the garden, kind of great for plant disease, but I wanted to check in midweek with you and give you an update on my Hydrangea Macrophyllah and mountain trials because we've had some progress. Some are kind of behind. Fast forward to last month, I think when I showed you these, I had to cut them back mostly to the ground because the stems had died on all of them, but we've had some really good growth on some of them. I did come through and treat some of them with Chlorosis or for Chlorosis this past week with some 𝗓𝗑𝗓𝗧𝗦 iron, and then I treated them all, or mostly the ones in the front of the house. I did not treat the ones at the back of the house with Jack's Hydrangea Blue to see if I could start getting some blue blooms on these flowers. So let's turn the camera around. We'll show you the ones under the maple, a couple others I'm excited about. And it's hard to call a winner for the spring blooming contest because I'll show you later. Endless Summer Bloomstruck bloomed first and it looks gorgeous, but it's only got a few blooms open. While proven winners Skyview Hydrangea, which is up near the front of the house here, has a little bit of Chlorosis. It's the one that was suffering so bad last year, but it has so many blooms open, and they are a kind of a baby pink, but they're still beautiful. So let's take a look at the ones under the maple first. So I need to come through, pick up all these sticks and remulch this bed for the year. This is one I treated with 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗦 iron. It is Starfield. It has really pointy leaves and really pointy blooms. It looks like it's forming a bud here, so I need to mark that on my spreadsheet I'm tracking. I'm trying to track the best I can. I can't do it every day and check them every day, so they may not be like super accurate down to the day, but I'm trying to, when I notice blooms, record them, or buds, record them in the spreadsheet that I'm tracking. So we don't have really any blooms fully open under the maple yet, but out of the ones that are in here, all of the Endless Summer varieties are actually producing buds earlier. It looks like we might need a little bit of water. This is a Bloomstruck here, and the bloom looks a little wilty under here, and it's much smaller. But so we have Stargazer or Starfield. I have a Stargazer behind the house. This is 𝗪𝗛𝗓𝗧𝗦 Lovable here, not quite blooming or got any buds on it yet. I'm pretty sure this one is Summer Crush, and it has got lots of buds on it. They're just now starting to open, it looks like. There's a little bit of pink on the edge there, so I imagine these will be pink. This is the first edition's variety Eclipse here, no buds yet. 𝗪𝗛𝗓𝗧𝗦 Skyview, got lots of buds on it down here. This one I believe is Big Band, proven winners, Big Band, Let's Dance Big Band. We've got two buds right here coming along. We've got Top Fun, which is a mountain hydrangea hybrid, I believe. Yeah, reblooming mountain hydrangea, so it's the Tuff Stuff series. They have lace cap blooms. Got a couple buds there. Endless Summer, the original. Doesn't look like there's any buds on it quite yet, but it is nice, green, leafy, and bigger than some of the others in the bed here. This is proven winners Wee Bit Giddy, which we got one bud coming along down here. Proven winners Tiny Tuff Stuff, part of the Tuff Stuff series. We have Pop Star, which is an Endless Summer variety here. Lots of buds on here coming so far. This was a Monrovia variety, no buds yet, kind of leggy growth. I don't remember the name of it. I'm going to come through and do a lot of naming this year on some plant tags. This is one that only blooms on old wood, but I planted it anyway. It's called Light o' Day because it's a variegated one. Not tracking this one necessarily so much for its bloom or rebloom, because it is only blooming on old wood from my understanding, so it may not rebloom well here at all. This was Let's Dance Blue Jangles down here. I have not dug it up yet, and I'll show you why in a moment, but it's not producing any leaves still. This is Let's Dance Can Do by Proven Winners. Got a little bit of pink going on here, several buds forming. This is some Monrovia variety, yeah, Cape Lookout. So some pretty good green growth, but no buds yet. This one is looking good. It's Twist and Shout, but look at these blooms. A little purple, but getting close to blue. Let's look a little closer here. You see that blue in the center? That makes me happy, but looking really good. Lots of good growth. This one is Tuff Stuff 𝗂𝗂, which has really big water lily sized blooms. It's a baby now. It may get bigger blooms as it gets older, but we got a few buds going on here and the blooms just now opening. This is another Monrovia variety. Lots of good foliage, but no blooms or buds. And this one I showed you in the last video I thought was dead. So this is the 𝗖𝗢𝗗𝗘𝗢𝗡𝗧 Island. We did end up having some growth pop up here just the other day. I noticed it. So although it got knocked back, we'll keep an eye on it and see what it does this year. I would not expect it to do very much, having been knocked back and only producing one stem of growth down there. Before we move to the back, I'm going to show you a few up front because there are some up front that's looking really good. And these up front are in this front bed here in front of the house that I show you so often, that I love how it's coming together. And they're doing pretty good. I planted them here to give them more sun than I would expect they would be able to take. So what's going to happen here is they may burn. They may droop in the afternoon as they get too much sun. Ideal locations is part sun for Hydrangea Macrophyllah. I know the tags on a lot of them say full sun. If you give them full sun, you got to really put some water on them and risk the likelihood that they're going to burn. So if you live in a cooler climate where it doesn't get super hot in the summer, you can probably give them full sun. Here in Ohio and southern climates, you're just not going to be able to give that to a lot of those hydrangeas, but we're testing them to see how they perform. In most cases so far, the ones that are getting more sun are performing better, but there are those trade-offs. Right now, the weather's been cooler than usual, lots of rain. So we move into July and August when it starts getting hotter with more sun. We may see a downturn in that and better performance by the ones that have more protection. So I planted a 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏 down here, or sorry, a Tuff Stuff 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏. It's a mountain reblooming, and we got a bud on it. No open blooms quite yet. These are some of the oldest hydrangeas I planted in the garden. Hydrangea Macrophyllah. I think these are technically a hybrid. This is 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Also used to be known as 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So if you purchased it when it was initially introduced on the market, it was known as 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But here where they're getting a lot more sun, they are producing a ton of buds. So I showed you one over there under the maple, only had a couple buds on it. But here you can see these were planted fall 2023. So these were some of the first plants that I planted in this garden bed right after I developed it or started developing it. But all of these are beautiful pink blooms. So you'll notice that the ones inside are pink, and these buds on the outside here are new buds most likely. So the old buds that may have stuck around from last year are towards the bottom, and all the new leafy growth is growing on top, but just a ton of buds. So I'm excited to see how these turn out. These were also, I applied Jack's Hydrangea Blue to these. So we'll see if we get any blue blooms out of this as the season progresses. Because these are reblooming, they'll continue to produce buds all season, but they're looking good, really healthy. They're taking pretty much full sun. These may be a little more protected in the very late evening because of the house, but they do, I would consider them definitely getting right now full sun. As some of these trees grow up, like this is a small dogwood here called Scarlet Fire. They'll cast a little more shade, but they'll be much more established by then. Over here is the one I wanted to show you that I'm really impressed with. So look at this. This is Let's Dance Skyview, looking gorgeous, but there is that chlorosis here. So I did treat this. It actually looks a little better than it did the other day. Not all of the foliage, just some of the newest foliage, but that baby pink color is really beautiful. Also applied some hydrangea blue to this. Also, you can apply like an aluminum sulfate to see if I could start changing these a little bit. But these are pretty much really pink. Skyview is supposed to be one of 𝗗𝗏𝗦𝗧𝗦's easiest ones to turn blue. So we're going to be giving that a try, but I really love how this one looks. So a nice clump here. I'm hoping it'll fill out nicely in this area as the season progresses and over the next few years, and be a really nice statement shrub here on the edge of this flower bed with the fountain. Up here next to the door, we have 𝗍𝗑𝗏𝗧𝗦. So 𝗍𝗑𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗦 also was showing signs of a little bit of chlorosis, so I did give it some EDD/HA iron. You can see these leaves right here, a little more yellow, kind of limey than some of the older growth in there. No buds yet on this one, but this one over here does have several buds on it. So we'll see how those progress. 𝗍𝗑𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗦 has very nice delicate pink blooms like the Skyview almost that you see now, but it can change colors depending on the pH, so we're going to try and change as many as we can. Over here we have a set of 3 Let's Dance Lovable. As you can see, these are producing a lot of buds when the one under the maple is not yet doing so, and that's probably because they just get more sun. These were also planted as 1 gallon. That Lovable under the maple was planted as a 3 gallon. But lots of good buds here. Even got a bloom starting down there. I expect these to kind of be a little behind though, because they were just planted as 1 gallons last year, but they're making good progress. And as this red bud continues to grow on, they'll get a little more shade as well. This down here, I'm not even sure I have it on my spreadsheet. It's Tuff Stuff Red, which they no longer produce, but I did find it at a garden center last year. And I'm wondering if they no longer produce it, because I would expect to see some buds on it by now. It's looking really good. This one gets a lot of sun. The other day it was wilted when I came out here. I picked it up at 𝗍𝗏𝗗𝗘𝗢 and it was just a massive hydrangea, but the foliage looks nice. I'm just hoping I get some buds out of it. All right, that is all of the ones up front. Let's go back to the swing set and show you how those are progressing. I got a few more on the property, but I haven't noticed any blooms off them yet. That includes like Let's Dance Rave, which is also a discontinued variety by 𝗗𝗏𝗦𝗧𝗦's, but I did find it at the garden center when I was purchasing these, so I just grabbed it. It's one of the early mother plants to a lot of others in the Let's Dance series from my reading in Michael Durr's book and from what I found online. But newer varieties are reblooming better, so they just discontinued that variety. Also have one called Rock and Roll, which was bred and newly introduced by Michael Durr himself, who founded the original endless summer hydrangeas. And I haven't seen it doing like a ton of blooms yet either, but we'll take a look at the end of this. So a lot of weeds in this bed here. I got to come do some pulling and some serious need to do some more mulching. I put a lot of mulch on this bed last year when I was developing this area, but it's already broken up quite a bit. And I can actually see some deer browsing going on now that I'm back here. Look at all this damage here. But the ones inside here look really beautiful. Look how big this bloom is. This is Bloomstruck. You can see as it's aging more purple to blue. It came out a little more shade of pink, maybe like this shade here. And this one over here, you can see it's the same plant too, but we've got pink to purple on the same plant. So that tells me the pH is kind of right there towards the middle. The pH back here in this part of the garden may be a little lower. We're getting closer to that 7 and below where they'll start changing blue, which makes me really happy. So lots of blooms on this one. So while I mentioned Skyview had a lot that was already opened, Bloomstruck has probably produced more buds though, and has in the next week gonna have probably more blooms open than Skyview did. We also have Popstar in this bed, so all of the Macrophyllas in this bed are endless summer varieties, and Popstar is producing lots of blooms or lots of buds too. Not a whole lot that's open quite yet, but the ones that are, so Popstar has a lace cap bloom. But look see how interesting those look? We've got blue touches there on the blooms and also pink and green. In the center here we have another endless variety that's not talked about quite often, but it's Blushing Bride. It's a white variety. I think it can get tinges of pink or blue depending on the soil, but for the most part it is white. And so we got a nice big bud forming there on that one. And over here is another Bloomstruck, and you can see how much more pink that one is than the other. And this one, all of these hydrangeas are a little more behind than the ones on the other side for some reason. But like Popstar here, it's looking really nice. Lots of weeds in this bed to clean. So this is Let's Dance Rave. You can see it's a little wilty from the hot sun that we were having today, and not quite holding up quite as well as some of the others in this garden. This one is Starfield, so I have one called this one's Stargazer. I have one called Starfield at the front. Stargazer is more of a lace cap. Really, really nice foliage. It had really big stems on it last year, but no blooms quite yet. And then hidden among the phlox back here is Rock and Roll by 𝗖𝗢𝗘𝗧. So lots of nice foliage. It's actually gotten quite big this year, but no blooms quite yet. And that is it. Just wanted to give you a quick update. I'm hoping next month's update, which you'll see these in videos throughout the next month anyway, but I'm hoping next month's update will be much more progress as it continues to get warmer here. I think our cooler spring so far has slowed some of these down from progressing as much as I would have expected them to. A lot of things seem behind, but things are looking better just because they've not been stressed by drought or heat so far. So thank y'all for joining me in this little hydrangea trial update video. And remember, be a light. Take care. Bye.